All right, 2.4 continued. I have a couple more trig examples to give you, and then I'm gonna give you guys time to work. I'm gonna run through these fast. In fact, you know what I'm gonna do even is I'm gonna run through.
Yesterday?
Actually, there's only one example.
Yay! Time to buck up, though.
I do have a reminder though.
Oh, I do.
Sine squared of x. I just want to remind all of you that really means the whole thing. Well, the derivative means the cosine, but that means if your squared is in between the sine and the x like that, that really means the whole quantity is squared. It means sine of x squared. You see where I wrote that right here, you guys?
Yes.
It means the sine of x squared. So keep that in mind. When you are finding the derivative, what are you going to call u in such a situation?
U squared.
You're going to call u
Sign it.
the sine of x. And then what's the derivative? Excuse me, guys. We need to buck up, okay?
Sorry.
We're going to call u the sine of x, and what's the derivative of u then?
To the sine x and derivative of sine x.
Well, what is the derivative of sine of x? Just without talking about the chain rule. Cosine of x.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you would call u the sine of x, and then the derivative of u would be cosine of x.
Okay.
All right. I don't think those are a huge deal, but I know a lot of people will forget that sine squared of x really means the sine of x squared. All right, let's go back to this example. This is the one that I wanted to talk to you about, and the reason we're going to talk about this is because you have a chain rule inside of a chain rule. Only one I need to go through you, and like I said, this is something I feel like really needs to be addressed before I let you guys start working. So, what are you gonna call? What first? You want to see it first?
I don't like to see where you have a chair.
Two cosine of U.
Oh, okay. I think you will once I get started. Because initially, you would think, oh, you don't need a chain rule inside of a chain rule. But I think once you get into it, you'll notice where you need it. What do you not know? Well, let's see. If it was the cosine of x, you could find the derivative of it, no problems. You already know what the cosine of x is. But you do not know how to find the cosine of 1 minus 2x squared. So that means this whole thing is what we need to call u. So I'm going to go over here and say, now usually when you come over here and you say u is something, it is not some quantity to a power. But this time it is going to be a quantity to a power. So u is going to be equal to 1 minus 2x, put it to a power of 2. I'm going to switch back here now, and I'm going to rewrite this as now the cosine of u. I'm just rewriting it. I haven't figured anything out yet. I just renamed it, cosine of u. Now what we need to do is figure out the derivative of u. Do you see now? Here I have an issue because it's 1 minus 2x squared, but now when I go to find the derivative of my u, it used to be just a quick like negative 2x or negative 2 or something, but now we have something raised to a power. What are we going to need to use over here to find the derivative of u?
The chain.
The chain rule again. All right? So what I'm going to do is leave myself some space here. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to name
B.
this part right here. I'm going to name it v. You don't have to use v. I just use v because it's the next letter in the alphabet. So I'm going to call v 1 minus 2x. What is the derivative of v? 2.
Negative 2.
Negative 2. So now I'm going to come back up here and say, well, I call u is 1 minus 2x, but 1 minus 2x I've renamed as v. So I'm going to rewrite u, not prime, I didn't mean to write that, just u. I'm going to rename that as v squared. All right, so what is u prime then?
2b.
Okay, keep going.
Oh, 2b.
2v times
The prime.
the derivative of v. So u prime is actually 2 times v, which is 1 minus 2x, times the derivative of v, which is negative 2. And now, I am going to clean this up a little bit. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4 times 1 minus 2x.
You could go farther than that.
Well, you could distribute.
Just be like -4 plus 8x.
Yeah, in fact, let's do that. Negative 4 plus 8x. Negative 4 plus 8. So the derivative of u is negative 4 plus 8x. This is what we're going to need to use when we go back to our
Cosine u.
first situation. All right, so we've renamed that as the cosine of u. So the derivative now of f of x is going to be equal to the derivative of the cosine of u. What's the derivative of the cosine of u?
Negative sine.
Negative sine u, but we need to multiply that by the derivative of u,
Which is
which we'll plug in just a minute. So this is equal to negative sine of u, which is 1 minus 2x to the power of 2. But we need to multiply that by the derivative, which is negative 4 plus 8x, or yes, it might be better to write it as 8x minus 4. Which, this is a pretty good answer, but I do see a negative out front. This is like a negative 1 that I could distribute into the negative 4 and into the 8x. So I would probably take this one step further and say, well, this is 4 minus 8x times what?
sine.
Sine of 1 minus 2x squared. Could I put sine where?
Out in front before the 4 minus
Yes, but I think it wouldn't be wrong to write it like that. But I think that this 4 minus 8x is kind of like having a coefficient. So I think you would be more likely to see it like this than the other way around. But I wouldn't be wrong. Yes.
Did your answers change because the sign out before the 4 minus 8x?
That's pretty much, she just asked me, could you put the sign part of it in front? Yes.
Oh, I thought
Yes.
it was taking the sign off and putting it on the 4 minus 8x. Never mind.
Okay. Sydney, you were gonna say something, or? That's it.
For our worksheet.
Now, I will say that on the assignment you're gonna get today, the trig assignment, you are gonna have a couple of problems. I think the last two have a chain rule inside of a chain rule, so you might wanna go to those first.
Fresh out of memory.